Now that's the part that got everybody. They was like, okay, he's guilty on all 3 counts and the bail was revoked. Revoked.
You know the drama is never ending. Don't let it get the best of you, baby.
Alright everybody, welcome to Daytime Tea Time. If you're new to my channel, my name is Candice. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you will always know when I upload. Alright y'all, so as of yesterday, Tuesday, April 20th, 4/20, former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin was found guilty on all 3 counts for the murder of George Floyd and is now officially a murderer. Anybody with eyes knew that he was a murderer, but I'm just saying, with the law, he's officially a murderer.
We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to count 1, unintentional second-degree murder while committing a felony, find the defendant guilty. Count 2, third-degree murder perpetrating an eminently dangerous act, find the defendant guilty. Count 3, second-degree manslaughter, culpable negligence, creating an unreasonable risk, find the defendant guilty.
Second-degree murder, the most severe charge, an intentional assault that led to death. A jury of 12 delivering a verdict that an officer of the law wanted to hurt someone badly and wound up killing them as a result. This is a precedent-setting verdict, and it came quickly, like 10 hours. Now, while the video of those heartbreaking 9 minutes and 29 seconds, while that was obvious for many, this result in court against a police officer is very, very unusual. Police officers are rarely convicted of anything when it comes to use of force, let alone murder.
On all 3 counts, and did y'all see his eyes? He was like, who, me? Me? Yes, you. You, Derek Chauvin, press your knee down on George Floyd's neck for 9 minutes and 29 seconds. You. So don't be looking around. Well, who, me? Yeah, you. And maybe he's practicing for when he in prison. You know what I'm saying? He gonna be looking around, turning his neck, trying to see who coming to get him when he in prison. I'm just saying. Derek like neck so much, okay, he gonna be using that neck in many different ways in prison.
You know what this is, baby. Don't fight this shit.
Fight what shit?
Let it happen.
Let it happen. What the hell you doing? What the hell? Am I in prison? Hold on, no.
Speaking of which, Wendy Williams said something similar today on her show when she reacted to the verdict. Basically, Auntie Wendy feels like he may not last too long in prison. Basically, she's saying somebody might kill him. Check this out.
So they say he faces up to 40 years in prison, but I figure if you're 45 years old, and if you get even 10 years in prison, he might not survive the first 48 hours, if you know what I'm saying. Somebody's gonna jump him lovely. You know, touch him up. So the Floyd family hopes that this is the beginning of real change in this country. So do I.
Y'all heard Wendy, she talking about touch him up.
You know, touch him up.
And she meant that, okay? Now y'all can drag me in the comment section and say that's mean to wish death upon people or wish something horrible against somebody. I'm not wishing it. I'm just saying that's likely to happen. A police officer who murdered somebody, one of the biggest cases, I mean, it's not safe for you. I don't feel sorry for you, Derek. Now, Wendy says that she don't feel like he gonna make the first 48 hours. Now, he may make the first 48 hours because he is not in general population in prison. For Derek's safety, they have moved him to a segregated housing unit. According to CNN, former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin was put in the prison's segregated housing unit for his own safety. So here's what's next for Derek Chauvin. Sentencing will be in 8 weeks. So that's gonna be around the 2nd week of June. The precise date is gonna be announced. Derek Chauvin had been out on bail since October. However, his bail was revoked. Now that's the part that got everybody. They was like, okay, he's guilty on all 3 counts and the bail was revoked. Revoked. Now for me, it's the sentencing. I mean, of course, we're all happy that he was found guilty on all 3 counts, but for me, it's the sentencing. I wanna know how many years is he gonna get? Is he gonna get the max? sentence like a regular person would get, or because he's a former cop, are they gonna go easier on him? We don't know, we'll just have to wait. We can all speculate and say what we want, what we wish, or what we think, but honestly, we've never seen anything like this where a police officer is actually convicted of murder and it's not even a shooting. It's not even a shooting. We've seen videotapes of shootings and they don't get convicted. So for him to be convicted for murder without a gun being involved, listen.
Since 2005, 140 officers have been arrested for murder or manslaughter in on-duty shootings. 44 have been convicted of a crime. Only 7 have been convicted on murder charges for shootings. But what about on-duty deaths that happen in another way, not shootings, like what happened to Floyd? We can't find a single homicide conviction for a non-shooting incident, let alone for an on-duty neck restraint case, aside from Chauvin. But there are 3 cases currently pending. Again, we are a big country with a big government that measures all kinds of things, and yet we don't really keep track of these events. The only reason we have the statistics I could give you is because of the tireless work of one professor, Stinson, at Bowling Green State. He's tracking these police crimes. He's stepping in where the federal government should be. Now, more context of how special, literally historic, this case is. You remember the South Carolina case in 2015 where the cop shot and killed an unarmed black man named Walter Scott? Remember, he was running away, shot him in the back. The killing, unbeknownst to the officer, was caught on tape by a bystander with a cell phone. Exposed the cop, his name was Slager, for lying. Even in those circumstances, the state case ended in a hung jury. Just takes one. Another one-time police officer, like Chauvin, named Geronimo Yanez, was acquitted of second-degree manslaughter in 2017 for the killing of Philando Castile. Remember that traffic stop? Despite footage and testimony from Castile's girlfriend who witnessed the shooting. So what does that tell us? While the Derek Chauvin case for the murder of George Floyd may have seemed obvious, there was no reason to think this verdict would be returned. Remember, this case almost never came to be. It started as a health incident, according to the police. Remember? They put out a statement that the suspect, Floyd, appeared to be suffering medical distress and that the officers called for an ambulance and he died a short time after being brought to the hospital. As obvious as that video was, if not for the governor directing the AG to appoint a special prosecutor, this day may have never come. So tonight, there is a collective sigh of relief for many across this nation, especially from the Floyd family. They are vowing to keep up their fight against systemic racial inequality.
Okay, so I know that was a long clip, but sometimes we really do have to sit back and remember. At first, they tried to make it a health issue. They tried to make it, oh, George Floyd died because he had COVID. He had drugs in his system. Completely ignoring the fact that he had a big, fat, racist knee on his neck. Thank God for cell phones, because without any proof, real proof, recorded proof, we don't even get any attention, let alone a trial and a conviction, a murder conviction. So I want to take a moment and shout out Darnella Frazier. She's the young lady who recorded it. Make sure y'all follow her on social media. I mean, it's just crazy. The trauma that she and all the witnesses are gonna have to dealing with, but now that we have a guilty verdict, all the frustration and the trauma that came with recording that moment, I know that Darnella is proud of herself, and she should be. Make sure y'all follow her, hit her up on Cash App, give her something, do whatever you gotta do. Like a post, follow, donate, whatever you gotta do. I really felt it in my heart to do that, because I'm like, listen, without that footage, they would have made it a health issue, and that's absolutely ridiculous. At the end of the day, George Floyd's family has found some type of relief, some type of justice. Truly accountability, the true justice that we're looking for, this is just a start.
I feel relieved today that I finally have the opportunity for hopefully getting some sleep. It's been a long journey as my brother was murdered. Times, they're getting harder every day. 10 miles away from here, Mr. Wright, Dante Wright.
That's right. Yeah.
He should still be here. We will have to do this for life. I'm gonna put up a fight every day because I'm not just fighting for George anymore. I'm fighting for everybody around this world. Today, we are able to breathe again.
My prayers go out to George Floyd's family, to his daughter Gianna, and I just hope that they get a peace, a real peace, a peace that passes all understanding, because this case is something we just don't understand. But I do pray that they get the peace that's definitely needed.
He did what?
That changed the world.
Daddy changed the world.
But all right, y'all, I'm done with this, and I want to know what y'all think. What do you guys think about the Derek Chauvin case? George Floyd? What do you think Derek Chauvin's sentencing will be? Let me know in the comment section if you haven't already. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and I'm gonna catch you in the next one, all right? Bye.